Folks, what's going on? Heir of Cathay here, aka the Salt Dragon, and we are going to continue our campaign as Grand Cathay. I do appreciate all of you who are watching, those who are taking the time to comment. I haven't been very good at responding to all the comments recently, and I apologize. Just been very busy, but hey, it's a new year. We're going to continue this campaign despite it not having started in the new year. And there'll be more to come over the coming year too. So if y'all enjoyed this, I'm planning future ones like it too. You know, we might do some more legendary runs to just kind of try out and see what we can or can't do. So far, we have been in pretty good shape on this campaign. Though, who knows what will happen as time goes along. It's a long road to the end of this campaign yet, and we are not there. We needed to put the building in here that drops the upkeep cost, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. That way we can garrison any section along the Great Bastion and keep ourselves at a low upkeep cost while keeping chaos at bay. We had multiple moving cogs the last time we had gotten together here. Miao Ying has now become somewhat free, and has helped to drive out the armies that were behind us. I was defending Wing Chang and resettling it. We had pushed back an army of the puppets here, or the puppets of Misrule, I believe, is the faction. Yeah, we'd pushed them back, and in fact, I'm going to now push Miao Ying in that direction. This one is almost finished replenishing and, you know, ready to come back. I don't think I'm going to make any current changes to this army. I might leave it as is for the moment. I do need to make some changes probably to that army though. To Miao Ying's army. I could just do it via a global pool, which would probably be the easier way to do it. The Iron Dragon is building up an army. His is going to be quite expensive because I'm going to give him a pretty elite army, and I was going to push him. I'm honestly thinking about taking him and Miao Ying and pushing into Greenskin territory, seeing if we can start to defeat them. I kind of want to fill this area back up with ogres. Now, that might sound a little bit weird, but Greasus is an ally at the moment. He's not a very good one in the terms that he got his butt kicked over here. But if we can save Greasus's butt, he's a trade partner, and we can essentially use him as a buffer state between chaos and the rest, and a means for us to travel through his territory on the way on our caravans and so on. And not only that, I think we can actually hire ogre mercenaries into our caravan along the way too. So I am going to reestablish him. So you might think, well, Eric, what's next for you? Well, I definitely want to clear up the ogre lands and try and get it settled because there's a mess there. I also want to go out and just flat defeat chaos outside the gates. So that's also in the works here. So I'm sitting here thinking about it right now. How about let's do it this way? How about we take Miao Ying to face the enemies outside of the gate, and we use this army here along with the Iron Dragon to face the armies to the west. That's going to be like the Caravan of Roses, Grimgore's faction, all that stuff, to try and reestablish our ogre buffer states to the west along the Great Silk Road. Now, that's going to leave other armies. We still have a fight. We're trying to clean up against some lizards here, which this one started recently. This is going to be the big Crocs faction, not Croc Gar. This one's going to be, what does it say? It's the children? Defenders of the Great Plan, I believe, is who we're looking at here. Yeah, Spirit of the Jungle, sorry. The Defenders of the Great Plan are the like sub-factions. So it's the Defenders of the Jungle, and they are going to be led by Nakai. So Nakai is the nomadic lizard, of course, that has his start over here. We've also got a port, and should we choose to use it, there is a sea lane that would be available to us in order to travel. I believe that's this sea lane here. But we could go and potentially fight in Agarond and other places. We'll see. Let's take a look at our objectives, actually, and see how we're doing in terms of victory conditions. I would like to achieve a long campaign victory, which means that we have a lot of work to do in terms of like sacking or occupying new settlements. We also have to achieve the short victory, but we would need to get rid of the Dissenter Lords, the Puppets of Misrule, Heralds of the Tempest, and the Blessed Dread. The Blessed Dread are near dead. I think it's just this arc where they're at. So we need to kill that. Eventually have to go out and face it in combat, which we can probably do now as well. The Dissenter Lords, we've temporarily had agreements with them. I think we can, it just says destroy the following factions. Honestly, if we confederate them, it probably counts and takes that out. And then, of course, I wanted to destroy the Puppets of Misrule, as just mentioned. And then the Heralds of the Tempest, we haven't mentioned them yet, but they came in fighting Kolak, and obviously that's a potential fight for us as well. So, anyway, we're going to continue. We know what our objectives are, which is conquer more territory. And we're running out of territory, kind of, here. There's some lizard territory we could pick up. We can continue to confederate these other Cathay factions. That will also give us more territory. And then, I mean, as far as other territory, I'd like to leave some of this stuff up in the mountains to the ogres. But, I mean, there's nothing that would stop me from, like, for instance, coming in and taking the Dragon Isles. Like, that would be 4 more settlements. Or other areas that might be somewhat more suitable to the habitation of the people of Cathay. So, let's continue our work. We've got a lot to do. We definitely have plenty to do. So, Zhao Ming's army has finished some of its recruitment here. I do want to put a few Jade Warriors in here just to kind of balance out costs. These guys are a little cheaper. We're going to need a fair number of crossbowmen as well. I would obviously prefer to use the very expensive and very capable Celestial Dragon crossbows, but I don't believe I have access to any of those at the moment, so we're not going to do that immediately. Plus, we do have the Divine Lance Battery and the Juggernaut, which we put in this army just for, you know, partly demonstration. We could also do something like Nangao Rifleman, and then that would give us a different capability than the crossbows, since we have the range, and we kind of get some good anti-infantry capability there. And the Nangao Rifleman would give us better capability against, like, large unit entities, because they can fire over the heads of smaller ones. In fact, since we haven't used it much, again, these are units that are part of a mod that I'm using. I almost said DLC. They're part of a mod I'm using. So, in any case, there we go. We've got a couple, or several Nangao Riflemen that we'll put into the army, and then I'll kind of continue to that point. It's still several turns away. We're going to need to improve our income as we go. Speaking of, let's see. Do we have any quick deals that would give us more trade? Not at the moment. Doesn't look like there's anything easy in terms of trade. As far as non-aggression packs, Sylvania was open-minded. That's interesting. I wonder why Sylvania is open-minded to it. Now, they're at war with a bunch of other people that I would like to make good with, including the Empire. You know, I'm just going to leave that be for now. As far as income goes, there are buildings we can use to improve it. We were trying to get this balance back underway. I can't remember exactly what we did last time, so let's go take a look at our provinces and see what's being built. Like, see if anything's about to shift in a yin and yang balance. We do have research that's about to complete, and that research is going to give... that one's just available. We haven't researched that one. We're working on this one. It's going to give us 1 more yen. And we're already heavy on yen a little bit. I want it to finish, though. I mean, it's not going to make a huge difference, honestly. We could swap over, do this yang, and then put in a building. I mean, if we do 2 of these, this one would be helpful right here, honestly. How about we let it finish? That's going to give us 1 more yen, and then I'll just set the research tree to head this way. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that for now. I'm not going to spend all my money because I want to keep a fair buffer, because we have a lot of troops, and our upkeep could suddenly become crippling if we're not careful. I did take Miao Ying down here, but I do think I want to take her to face the Puppets of Misrule, so I'm actually going to turn around and head the other direction. What are these guys feeling like in terms of confederation?
I am a sanctioned representative of the dragons.
I don't think they can be confederated, based on what I'm seeing here. Interesting. Well, that means they're going to have to die. I am trading with them, and it's a fairly lucrative trade agreement at the moment. Yeah, it doesn't appear possible to confederate with them It's probably because they're a faction that was never intended to be, like, long-term within Cathay. Honestly, what could be helpful for us is if the Puppets of Misrule take a shot at those guys and beat them for me. That would actually probably be pretty helpful. This army, I'll go ahead and move it up just a little bit, just to kind of keep an eye on this bridge. The Puppets of Misrule were somewhere in this vicinity.
I permit you to rest.
Just gonna go ahead and push up to there and kind of wait. The Skaven, I think we're pretty much dead at this point. We were moving our armies towards the Lizardmen threat. This Black Ark needs to go. It is going to be a pain in the butt to fight because they're going to have a lot of bombardment capabilities. This army is camped out down here. If we threaten their settlement, hopefully they'll move back. I'd like to drive them back into their settlements. Let's check our armies and see if anybody has not moved. Just our army at the wall.
Child of the Nine. I will.
I'm going to garrison here just to, again, kind of put the scare into the Chaos forces there. As Miao Ying shows up, I'm going to get pretty aggressive across the wall. Do some raising, earn some money, that type of thing. Try and get rid of these Chaos factions. We have outpost upgrades available. None of that is terribly necessary at the moment, so let's just go ahead and end our turn. I forgot that Astromancer. I need to move him. He actually needs to go on the army that's now headed south towards the Lizardmen faction, the Spirit of the Jungle, so we're going to need to move him south and embed him in that army. It looks like the Tretch Craventail Scrot initiates a fight against Grimgor's Ardboys, and somehow our caravan can come in as reinforcements. I didn't know that I could fight hand-in-hand with Skaven, but I'm going to leave them to their... I don't know. Is this a strategy? I guess it's worth it to burden Grimgor and gain some experience for our lord. Maybe? I don't know. We'll find out whether it was worth it. Remember, our caravan is in terrible danger these days because of the state of affairs through Ogre territory. Because of Grimgor's incursions there, obviously. So it's going to create major issues for us. There's actually more factions now than there was a couple turns ago. Unless I'm mistaken, I think the faction count went up, so maybe there's some rebellions. Oh, we picked up the hunger here for our... Yeah, that's our Lord Magistrate who picked that up. Good. Here's a word save. We'll go ahead and throw that on him. Oh no, it takes away the hunger there from the Jade Amulet, or the Jade Blood Pendant. I might put that Blood Pendant on someone else. Like another hero that I want to be able to replenish. So those are some lords that we sent back, disbanded them essentially. Okay.
On guard.
These guys are in trouble.
There must be order.
Cargo capacity, local guides, caravan shortcut events. Let's go ahead and do unyielding.
Surely a gift from the...
That'll help our infantry be less crappy. We continue to build out the army here for Zhao Ming. So he got a couple of Jade Warriors. He's going to have more over the next 3 turns. His army will continue to strengthen. And we can move against Grimgor, though we'll have to do so carefully. This army is strong, but certainly not unbeatable. We've got a lot of damage potential here with our crossbows, and then of course we have that rocket battery, which should do very well against greenskins. Oh, there's the Puppets of Misrule. Well, actually, what am I doing? I'm moving back and forth kind of stupidly here. We can attack Vilitch, potentially, with Miao Ying. In fact, I can come and kind of camp out right here. He's almost certainly going to attack Nanli. Nanli is fairly well guarded, and we may end up giving Vilitch a surprise that he did not expect. And I certainly hope so, because he's a weird piece of crap that I intend to kill.
Power in the blood.
Get that army's not costing me anything right now, which is good. They could move against the Turtle Gate. The Turtle Gate is very well guarded. They are not easily going to get through the Turtle Gate. They'd have to combine multiple forces.
No.
Right now, I just don't see that. The Snake Gate is also well guarded. I mean, there's nothing easy for them coming through the Great Bastion.
Celestial ancestors.
That army took to the river rather than defending their settlement. It's a strange decision. Well, I say it's a strange decision. It's a strange decision to me. It's not a terribly strange decision in terms of the AI, because the AI does that type of stuff where it will avoid
The dragon blood.
an obvious need to defend, just knowing that basically they have unlimited money, essentially, and so they'll just run off and, you know, go somewhere else thinking, oh, well, we'll just give up that settlement and go take one of their unguarded settlements, and that does happen quite a lot. We're still currently... That's kind of cool. It gets a ward save. Can we give that to this character?
Windshaper.
Or does she already have something better? Oh, she got a potion of healing. And a talisman of preservation, so not particularly necessary. But we could give it to this character. Keep moving him down here. He's probably never going to catch up with that army. There we go. Alright. Sweet. Income actually came up just a little bit. What's the balance looking like? So it is +3 as expected, and then it's going to go for more yin research, but instead I'm going to do this research, which should balance our yin-yang harmony. We're pretty close to balance, so we're not really suffering anything terrible here. We lose a little bit of income from yin buildings, but again, this is not something that's a big deal breaker for us at the moment. Let's head through our armies again and just kind of check our... This is the only army that can move. And not fully recruited in it. There's a bunch of places where we can build buildings. The question is, which ones do I really wish to build, and which ones can wait? I would say anything that improves, like trade, that improves income, as long as the spend isn't outrageous, is probably worth it. We could get some extra defenses at Kunlan, but it's not threatened particularly high at the moment. Let's go and build that, get ourselves a little bit of extra income. That one's just growth. This one is going to be at risk over the next few turns. Not a ton of lizards nearby, except for that one army, though, and we're not really sure where that army is going to go. What I'm basically thinking here is I don't want to spend too much money building it up and just have it get knocked over by the lizards on the next turn. Then any building I build here is not going to have a real immediate benefit to me because I don't need to recruit, and there's no money in it for me. Okay, alright, let's go ahead and just end our turn. The Great Compass can be pointed elsewhere. I wanted this Dragon Emperor's Wrath. We have to wait till this is full in order to use it. Let's go ahead and end the turn and see if we can keep it there. Outpost, unassign skill points. I will take care of the skill points. Looks like this Dragon-Blooded Shugengen Lord has the upgrades to make the troops better. And it looks like I was starting to work on the magic tree now. Probably just finish up Blossom Wind there. Damage spells are pretty handy at busting up.
It shall please the dragons.
And this one could be good. It takes away the Wind of Magic cost for Missile Mirror. Power of Yin is also not bad. It's a little bit of a debuff surrounding the leader. Cloak of Jet is fairly useless at the moment. May be fun for kicks later on.
It befits my high station.
Let's see, the Jade River Delta. We can put this control commandment out there. And I am going to skip the change of compass direction. And I do want to take the the... Okay, yeah, I already did the tech in the new direction. Yep, okay. Alright. Let's end our turn. Hopefully we'll see our yin-yang balance start to come in. As we capture new settlements, though, obviously it can shift some, and we may have to change our plans a little bit. It's difficult to keep it in perfect balance all the time, but we are very close to balance, which I think is a feasible place to keep it. You also don't tend to suffer any big issues from it unless you get way out of balance like we were earlier, and you start to get that control penalty and stuff like that. That's certainly where it starts to make more of a difference. Alright, Spirit of the Jungle is destroyed. Hey, that's interesting. They had an army there, and the Druki killed it. Because they'd been at war. Oh, that's funny. So the Druki kill it. These guys look like they're going to come ashore, potentially, and go for Chai-Mai. It's got some defense. It's not great. Interesting. Did not expect the Druki to step in there. Do we have an agreement with these guys? We do. We have an access agreement. Eastern River Lords. Let's see. Quick deal.
Lord of the Night.
Federation. Where's our confederation?
Bow!
I don't think there's any factions left that we can confederate with, because it doesn't even show it as an option in here, where it used to be an option. I think all the factions left were, for some reason, never intended for us to confederate with. Oh, unless I have an event going on that... yeah, okay, it's never mind. It's the event, because we had just confederated. I was starting to get confused there, because it had been there. Okay, no, I get it now. Okay, I was just confused. Big surprise, right? Air was confused. I know, it's never happened before. It will never happen again.
I concur.
Everybody knows that for sure. I am going to go ahead and spend a little bit of cash rebuilding that. And then we do have an access agreement with this faction, so we could move down further and try and take the Serpent Estuary for our own. If I go this path, it's X turns there. That's alright. So that's the fastest path, is to hit this first. I'll go ahead and force march in that direction. And hopefully I can beat them to the punch here and pick up another province. There we go. Alright, there's another sea lane there we'll have to remember too, because these take us to different places. Alright. We have been sieged at Hanyu Port. And that is rebels that have sieged us there. This is fine though. This will just get us some skill points for our dear brother. Has a lot of leadership. I think if I drop that leadership on... And there'd be a couple of cool ones. The leadership banner would be kind of cool on the Terracotta Sentinel, but it's already 100 leadership, so I mean, I was forgetting that it's unbreakable, so that's kind of pointless. Honestly, we'll just drop that on one of our Jade Warriors. It'll make them extremely hard to break. We got the armor-piercing banner here as well. Again, probably a good one on a Jade Warrior since they don't really have it. And then Wayfarer gives a Strider and a speed boost. That would actually be really cool on the Sentinel. So let's assign those. We've already got a pretty darn good garrison here as well. So rest in pieces, you filthy rebel scum. So they are going to be destroyed. And we will benefit from their oblivion financially. And physically, I guess, you know, because they're no longer here to go against us. Our replenishment will go, and then our recruiting can continue. I don't know why it did that with those units. I'll see if it reconnects them. If not, we'll just set them back up in there. Okay, the Puppets of Misrule saw us. They fell back slightly. Well, no, they didn't see us. But they fell back. It's almost like the AI knows we're there. It's almost like the AI is cheating. Like that they can see us. Either that, or maybe they saw this army and was worried about getting stuck there. I don't know, but I'm leaning towards the cheating. It's time for us to kill Vilitch. And we get to see the Jolly Green Giant in action here too, so we're absolutely going to take advantage of this. I'm tempted to replace that Sky Junk with an actual rocket battery, because I think it'll be better. Alright, let's fight this battle and have a little fun. Alright, this is a very odd map indeed. It's like a giant choke point. It'll be great for my artillery, so I'll take it. I'm going to leave the Jolly Green Giant up front. Let's get a good look at him. Probably, I guess, probably a better descriptor. Yeah, so here's the, I call it the Jolly Green Giant. Obviously, it has a different name here, but it's got Missile Reflect. Anything that gets inside of its little rate. Oh gosh, this is what I was worried about. Magic is going to be better for Tzeentch here than otherwise it would be because the choke points. I'm going to move this unit up to try and keep their army back a little further. My rockets are just raining death and destruction all over this formation, and I'm here for it. Alright, dragons up. So we're going to go try and taunt the enemy army into battle within crossbow range. And of course, if we start to come under any missile fire with the with our giant there, we'll bring it into control. Okay, so it looks like they've got unit charging through into my... Didn't mean to place that there, but it still ended up working. I don't think there's much armor on there. Alright, let's do a little bit of protection here. My alchemist probably really shouldn't be fighting that, but I don't think it's going to be the end of the world. Miao Ying's getting a little bit cooked here. Let's come in and get Vilitch. She's going to be alright, though. There we go. We got a victory. Vilitch is going to attempt to flee, but I'd like to have a word with Vilitch first. That should have delivered a massive hit, but it did not. It's a little bit frustrating. Ooh, he's getting shot now. We are delivering hits. Want to see him go. Want to see the life leave his eyes. Or multiple, or I don't know, the one part of him doesn't have eyes. I have no idea what Vilitch even is, to be honest. Some type of mutated man. There we go. Vilitch down. Alright, Vilitch is no longer behind our lines. I don't know if Miao Ying's defeated him yet. She may have. If not, we'll get whatever trait he gives for defeating. Probably something with like Winds of Magic or some other Tzeentchy something. I'm gonna go ahead and just take the treasury there because it's a fairly good bit of additional funds, which will help fund our brother's army. Or as we call him sometimes affectionately here, just brother or dear brother. Someone was joking about how that was funny that we referred to him that way. Yeah, I mean, they like each other, right? I don't know, it's the Warhammer world. They probably hate each other. Let's be honest, nothing in the Warhammer world works in like a normal fashion, right? Other than like the chaos parts of it probably function pretty normally in the sense that they're constantly evil. Here we go. We're not going to move that army on the garrison, or actually that was not the garrison army, that was a different one. So this character is going to keep moving to meet this army wherever it ends up. We don't really know where that is, so I'll just move down here. And then this army, yeah, is the one we are not going to move. However, this army can move. I'm going to slowly move towards Grimgore's territory. There's another army here for the Puppets of Misrule that's likely going to attempt to enter our land. And let's see. I think that's screwing up recruiting, so I'm just going to redo that there. I don't know for sure because we didn't end a turn. I'll go ahead and do those global because we picked up the extra money, and that'll allow me to get more done over the next 2 turns and try and rush Zhao Ming's army up to snuff where we want it. Range. I mean, that's a pretty good buff there. Iron Scale is cool too to give him regeneration. And this is a really good one here to give us it's a spell lord metal, Final Transmutation. So we definitely want Final Transmutation. It's a brutally effective spell. Okay, we're gonna skip that one. We can now turn on the Dragon Emperor's wrath here and unleash it upon any who step foot in Cathay's territory. That also means we can now swing the compass into a new direction. And I'm going to swing it back over to the Great Bastion, which is kind of a favorite of mine because we get this Celestial Intervention bombardment as well. Once again, it's going to ask me about a bunch of buildings, and we should probably go ahead and take care of some buildings. Go ahead and build that one, because eventually I'll want that facility there. Got a bunch of stuff that could be built here at the Bridge of Heaven, and let's go ahead and do that. So we'll spend a little cash there.
Love is in doubt.
Extra growth probably wouldn't hurt here. It gives us extra income. Let's just go with defense first. And then we'll stop there. Again, just I say that. I'll go ahead and spend a little bit more here on the pottery maker. There we go. Let's go ahead and end our turn. Like I said, this balance is kind of pre-planned. We should come into balance over the next, dozen or so turns here, which go by fairly quickly. We're going to go attack the Puppets of Misrule in their realm, as well as the other factions of Chaos out there. So Miao Ying is headed to go outside the Great Bastion. We are intercepted. I kind of figured this would happen with our with our caravan, so I'm not entirely surprised. It's unfortunate though, because we did have a decent, decently ranked up leader there, but again, this is not at all surprising. So rest in pieces, you sweet caravan. We hardly knew thee, and you didn't really have a chance. Yeah, so caravans are just not a thing right now until we get rid of the greenskins. That's just going to be all there is to it. We can make up for that income by fighting. It'd be nice to just have that on top of everything as well. But at this point, we'll just have to make up for it by fighting. Yeah, they stole that Talisman of Endurance too. It's frustrating. Ready for duty, Lord there. Walks amongst. Okay, alright. Let's see. Brothers recruiting back underway. Excellent. This is going to bring him within 4 units of a complete army, and he needs mobility at this point. And I don't know what better way to go than some long marauders. Maybe a couple of tigers and a couple of long marauders. Tigers aren't particularly strong, but they are very good against infantry and armor. So let's do that. So then within 4 turns, we'll have his army up and operational there. Okie dokie. Let's see.
Favored daughter.
Miao Ying is gonna head towards the gate. I'm gonna send her to the Turtle Gate. This army.
Descended from celestial glory.
We take attrition here in the desert, we will. Anywhere in this vicinity, unfortunately. Where are they going to head, though? I mean, if they head towards my territory, it would have to come across this bridge. How about we go set an ambush? Kind of looking at the different potential spots here. This calls this light forest for some reason. So let's set up an ambush near that bridge. See if we can, by chance, catch these guys. It's Kylus here, not to be confused with Kalis, the Klingon savior or whatever he was. Sorry, I thought the name was close. Had to drop that joke. I loved me some good Next Generation back in the day with Star Trek. It was good stuff.
Cathay
Hate all the new Star Trek stuff. I can't really stand it. If you can, then I'm glad, because it sure doesn't do anything for me. But yeah, I loved all the old Star Trek stuff back in the day. Alright, let's go ahead and put this building in while we're at it, and then I'm going to skip the rest of these. So we've got some buildings that are going to improve, got our character on the way, we have other characters. Ah, crap, I should have issued another move order. Well, we still had a whole other turn with the move order. The downside is that they're in a force march, and I brought them fairly close to an enemy settlement in a force march, which is risky. So I should have been paying more attention there. Kislev wishes for military access. Not sure why they'd need it. They're nowhere near me. But, okay. Maybe just to make things more friendly? Sure. You know, it's an odd request. One that I don't think will benefit anything other than them liking me more for having granted it. So, But I'm not terribly concerned about like Kislev showing up with an army and snatching my unsettled areas or stuff that I'm aiming for. We can confederate again now, so we should look and see if any of these factions are willing to confederate. We can try to absorb them. The Dissenter Lords would be a good one to absorb. It's going to obviously throw our balance off even more, though. But that wouldn't be anything new, I guess, at this point. Let's come up to this one slowly, so we get eyes on. Nothing here. Not a big surprise. This faction doesn't usually do much. Alright, so we're going to take this settlement off of this puppet faction, occupy it. That could potentially screw up our balance more, but it did not. It doesn't look like there's anything there. Yep, just the port. Okay, well, that's good. Ports are useful for us. We like ports. And we were chasing down the Druki, which we can now reach and fight. They are pretty damaged, which is good. Their Black Arc bombardments are going to be absolutely brutal. And I would like to fight these guys just to show some fighting, but I'm not going to because I think the auto-resolve is going to treat me a whole lot better than if I go do this, because look at these bombardments. They've got Soul Rain, Sky Cauldron, Cain Scourge, Bolt of Spite. I mean, these are going to hurt. So I'm going to just auto-resolve because I think the auto-resolve would probably treat me better by spreading some of that damage out rather than feeding it to me on the battlefield all at once. We're going to pick up a little over 4,000 coin from having defeated them. That gets rid of the Blessed Dread, which was one of our objectives. So if we go back to victory conditions, the short campaign victory is achieved. But we are looking for a long campaign victory here, which I think is kind of a more proper victory. The reward is, oh, the rewards that it achieved. Okay, we haven't necessarily achieved it here on the short one. Oh yeah, we did achieve it. It's got the check mark here, so we have achieved the short campaign victory. On the long one, we need to go after the Dissenter Lords, the Puppets of Misrule, the Heralds of the Tempest, and then basically just keep hitting a lot of settlements. Alright, the Beastmen are after us, so that's going to be our next objective. We'll just come ashore right over here and head them off. I'm not super worried about those Beastmen armies causing too much trouble for me. We're waiting on the next turn for this force, but we have gained some skill points. We'll unlock the Constellation of the Dragon. That's a pretty cool buff there, Might of Heaven and Earth. We'll look at that one as well. We can max out Final Transmutation there, which is great. It also means that our character can kind of wait where they're at right there. Lord not moved. Okay, so we are sitting in the ambush. Okay, they went after the Ogre settlement here, so I'm gonna end up in an attrition zone.
Rations will be provided.
Let's just move up a little closer. Face them. Alright. Brother's 3 turns from being activated. Activate the Iron Dragon, and we'll probably go for Knobbly Gorge, or we might go for the Maw Gate, start trying to give these settlements back to the Ogres, again, to kind of create that buffer state to allow me to fight other wars, I think would be the objective there. Would the Dissenter Lords be interested in... They don't want to confederate, that's interesting. I don't know why they wouldn't be interested in confederating.
Child of the night.
Burning Wind Nomads would. So we could confederate them. Kind of thinking I want to get things a little closer to balance before I do, because we're just now like trying to solve a bunch of that anyway. Alright, so we're about to have good support up at the gate. Okay, now we can continue to build our provinces. We can take advantage of the gem mine shaft there. That is going to give us some extra cash, some nice cash. Not to mention we can build this, which is going to boost our trade tariffs even further too. So we're making very good money off of trade. Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's check our movement here. And again, we only have the one lord and the character that we can't move. So looking good. Let's go ahead and... honestly, I think I'm going to go ahead and top off this army. They really just need some mobility. The Snangao Rifleman's a little out of place in this army because we have the otherwise good mix of crane gunners. That unit's probably not going to do me a whole lot of good. Let's see. Some Longma Riders would be really nice here. You're going to take 4 turns to recruit, but I don't really see why not. They've already got a Sentinel, which is a great, like, blocker unit.
Service is every
damage unit. Duty. They've got a Fire Rain Rocket. Honestly, a second Fire Rain Rocket would make this army just devastating. And I think I'm going to do that.
I will not tolerate sloth.
Sloth? Sloth? I think that's what she means. Anyway, alright. So... another 4 turns, that army will be getting a little bit closer. Let's go ahead and end another turn. I think we're going to finish that first step of research along that Yang tree, which is going to bring us back closer to balance. And then we'll move from there. That's going to be pretty much all the time I have for this episode, though. I'm trying to keep these roughly in that 30-some-odd to 45-minute range. And I'm going to try and keep them frequent. I know I missed a couple of days around the new year, but that's because I was just taking vacation. But you know, it's a new year, and you can expect to see a new string of content keep coming. And I'm excited for it. I've been on YouTube a lot of years, and nevertheless, I am excited for more years with you all. So appreciate everybody who is supporting and being a part of the channel. It is great to have all of you here. I love making content for you. Let's see. We can now finally get this character into this army. I mean, if I'm gonna drop a unit for this, I guess the War Tiger? We do have a ton of range. We should probably keep the mobility. I'll go ahead and drop 1 crossbow unit.
Cathay has no need of waste.
I mean, our magic caster should be able to make up for a crossbow unit, hopefully. Crossbows are typically, you know, a very solid unit, so it's not one that you're going to see me get rid of very often.
From my ancestors.
Alright, this army can now get on the move. I'm going to take the fight to the defenders here. The settlement's going to be a little bit unpleasant.
Our ancestors would lament this folly.
But it is ours now. And that is going to make a great place for us to end the episode. So we picked up cleansing water here. That's pretty nice as far as an enchanted item goes. Let's go see what she's got here. She's got the Celestial Silk Robe. Wonder if we can put it on this character. We can. So that'll reduce attrition, increase the charge bonus of this particular unit, and then increase the casualty replenishment rate. So that's not bad. Not bad. Alright. Jade Blood Pendants. Honestly, I'm going to put the Blood Pendant here. I don't know if we have a hand weapon for this character. I think I'm short. Oh, we do have a Sword of Heroes. There we go. Got a channeling staff at the moment. You have a Wand of Jet and a Power Stone. Similar. Let's go ahead and throw that in. And then let's scoot over to our Alchemist. We'll throw another Wand of Jet there. And Talisman. Throw that Talisman of Protection. I don't think I have another weapon. Don't, and I don't have any armor available at the moment either. Okay. Alright. Let's take care of the skill points at the least. Let's go with Earthing to help save us from overcast damage. as we can avoid it.
Child of the Nine.
And I'm going to do that skill point there.
Gift from my
And I will see you all next time. HeirofCarthage, signing out for now. See you then.